a month. Last week, we spoke to Molly Katchpole. She started an online petition calling for Bank of America to cancel its $5 a month debit card fee. And she sparked a small movement. She made the point that has been rebroadcast again and again. She's 22 years old. She's got 2 part-time jobs. She cannot afford to pay $60 a month to use her own money. She's here with us this morning again, as well as Democratic Congressman Brad Miller from North Carolina. Now, Congressman Miller just introduced legislation that would make it easier for people to switch their bank. Sorry, I didn't mean to switch your party. That was obviously a typo.
No one gets that confused, really.
I know. I was actually surprised by that typo, but nice to see you both this morning. Molly, you've gotten some momentum behind the movement here. I mean, at my last count, you were well above 200,000 people signing your petition. You've heard from Bank of America. They say that it would be premature to end this debit card fee. Have you found a new bank?
Yes, I have. I'm with a smaller community bank in D.C. right now.
No fees, no scary gotchas, no fees in there, and you're not worried about any of them lurking around the corner?
No.
I know. I'm going to tell you, Molly, that a lot of small community banks are looking exactly for people like you. So are the credit unions, because they are actually not-for-profit. You can actually get money back at the end of the year. But it's difficult, Congressman Miller, sometimes to fire your bank. I fired my bank about 5 or 6 years ago, and it was really a pain. And this is one of the reasons why people say, you know, they're mad at Bank of America or they're mad at other banks, but it's too difficult to walk away. You want to change that?
It really is, and it's intentionally sticky. A lot of what the banks do for you now are a convenience, but they also are very deliberately making it difficult for you to leave. When your pay is deposited automatically into account and other benefit checks, and then all of your automatic deductions pay a lot of your bills, like your mortgage, student loans, car payments, whatever else. If you want to change your bank, you really need to have like a 9-day transition to make sure you don't miss paying some of your bills.
And sometimes you can close that bank account, and then all of a sudden you realize that there's this $13 fee on there for something you don't understand, and you have to go to a branch and fill out some paperwork, and then they send you a paper check in the mail. They won't accept, some cases, a check to close your account if you do have a balance that you owe them. They want a money order or something. So do you think that legislation is the solution here?
Well, they do intentionally make it hard for you to move your account, and it ought to be easy. You ought to be able to walk into a new bank. First of all, you ought to be able to tell what the best deal for you is. It ought to be clear, plain English, standardized. You ought to know what the bank services are and what they charge for it, and you ought to be able to comparison shop and pick the best bank, the best credit union for you. Go to that new bank, new credit union, say, I want to move my account here, and they ought to be able to hand you the phone and say, call your old bank, tell them you're closing your accounts. And that's really all you have to do. The new bank takes over from there to make sure you don't miss paying any bills. The old bank has to transfer any money you've got in your account electronically. If your pay is deposited in your old bank, they've got to forward that immediately. And they've got to make sure that there is a smooth transition in paying your bills.
Molly?
There really is no excuse for having it be as sticky as it is.
Molly, was it sticky for you at Bank of America to fire Bank of America? What did you have to do?
It was. I had just deposited my rent check a couple of days before, electrical bills, internet, cable, things like that. And I was a little bit worried about overdraft fees.
And did you get hit with any overdraft fees, or it worked out okay in the end?
It worked out okay in the end.
I'll tell you both, the dirty little secret is the banks know by our own behavior that we don't really walk away. We complain and we don't walk away. And if you look at our behavior, and I'm not blaming the victim, I'm just saying, you look at the ATM fees that we pay, where we go out of network, we pay ATM fees, it's almost as if the banks know that we have a very high threshold for paying. Do you think, Congressman, that has changed, that we're not going to, after the Great Recession, we're just not going to accept paying to use our own money the way that we have done for so many years?
I think if we can introduce real competition by having consumers be able to compare and figure out the best deal, and then make it easy to change. No other bank, no other business in America just announces what they're going to charge. They worry about whether they're going to lose business. If Walmart makes you unhappy, you can go down the street to Target, and vice versa. Banks appear not to have to worry about that. We need to introduce real competition, and the way to do it is to make it easy, first of all, to tell what the best deal is, and then easy to change.
All right, Molly Katchpole, an online activist who has really sparked a following because of her anger at Bank of America. Also, Congressman Brad Miller, Democrat from North Carolina. Very nice to see both of you today. Have a nice weekend, both of you.
Thank you. You too.
All right, your morning headlines are next. Plus.